Hey everybody, Anthony Alfredo here. I hope you're all having a great day. And today I'm back in the SimSeats driving simulator with my D-Box haptic system, and I'm very curious about how it feels with the new wall proximity model that iRacing has implemented in one of their most recent builds and updates to the service. Last time I tested this out, the video did really well. I appreciate support from everyone on it. And comparing the wall proximity model that's been implemented on the sim to real life was really cool. And one thing I mentioned was that I wonder what it felt like with haptics and a unique system like D-Box to be able to maybe appreciate it more or have even more feel of how it affects the balance of the race car and the added side force and just the aero shift that you feel inside of the race car while you're driving it. So today we're going to do just that and see how it stacks up. I'm just going to stick to the baseline settings on the D-Box motion code configurator, and we'll just see how it stacks up. But I just want to run a few laps and see how it feels. We're definitely going to have to work back up to it here because it's been a little bit, but I loaded up at nighttime too, so hopefully we have a little bit more grip, and this allows us to push the limits a little bit more. So you've seen my initial reaction already to the D-Box technology. If you haven't, go check that video out. I've been running some laps trying to get used to it, and now I think it's time to mess around with some of the unique features of iRacing and the service itself and be able to make more real-life comparisons now that I have this D-Box technology and haptic system to have that added feel and added immersion. So we're going to see how it stacks up here at Homestead Miami Speedway when we rip the fence. So I think what we discovered last time in our last couple of videos when we were trying to run the fence when the update first came out is that the closer you get, the more challenging it is, which is how it is in real life, but the closer you get, the more side force you have because you're compressing that air even more than when you're further away from it. However, on the sim, it did seem like half a car width was the ideal placement, or like the comfort zone, so to speak. We're like right about there. We're going to start pushing a little bit more each lap as we continue to get comfortable. Like that. A little too much. That's exactly how it feels, though, with the D-Box in real life when you're close enough so it's not an abrupt hit to the wall. You just kind of bounce off of it. Otherwise, if you slide up into it too hard, you definitely slap it pretty aggressively. I just kissed it with the right rear right there. The balance is a little bit free right now. Hopefully it'll tighten up. Shut this reference car off because that's bugging me. It's affecting my vision. Probably don't need to use much brake either. I keep forgetting I'm in this Cup car on here. Been running a lot of laps in the Xfinity Series car. Oh yeah. See, the one thing is I seem to notice on iRacing itself is that there's more of a balance shift than an aero shift, which I guess makes sense. I guess essentially it's both of those are kind of combined features. And the one thing that the D-Box is allowing me to feel, in addition to the bumps and all these kinds of unique things on the track, the yaw is probably the biggest thing that's sticking out to me right now. When I go up to the wall, especially with the setup being a little free in, like right now, the car's stepping out just a little bit right there and stuff. The way it wants to turn away from the wall. Of course, it hit the wall there, so you saw me jolt around a little bit. But that right there is, I'm actually feeling that. It's kind of, the car is setting and rotating, and I can feel that, which is really cool to experience because, like I said, that in the last video, the added side force when you run up beside the wall is ultimately adding side force and increasing. It's helping. Sorry, I'm trying to not hit the wall right now. I want to get a couple good laps in. Might just have to reset because I got some right side damage. So you're increasing side force, which is ultimately allowing the car to turn better and have a little bit more grip. So I want to go back a couple laps because there was one really good one. Was it this lap right here? Yeah, it was that lap. See, that's where I got a little bit free and I felt that yaw we were talking about. But let's see if we can get a better view maybe from the chopper. Oops. So you got to enter right against the fence. We talked about this last time. I got in right on it and just maintained a few feet off the wall. Came a little bit far off right there because the car steered away. And then at that point, I'm trying to keep the car up there. And this is just the fixed setup, but there's a couple changes you can make to the actual setup to compensate for that and make it feel a little bit better. But it's really cool to feel that. I think the more laps I run, the more comfortable I get, and the better feel I have. And I can say, like, even right now, just on the apron slipping, right? I feel that traction loss. But up by the wall, that's not traction loss I'm feeling. It's yaw and actual rotation of the car, which is being caused by this wall proximity model. It's making the car turn more. It's added side force. So that's super cool that you can actually feel that while utilizing this D-Box technology and their haptics. Because as a real-life driver, especially these years with no practice or qualifying because of COVID, in practice, you might run the fence. You're not going to run that in qualifying because it's not the fastest way around. It's faster on older tires, of course, not in Q trim. But this is huge to get more laps by the fence, one, because we have a wall proximity model implemented into iRacing now, but to have the D-Box haptics to allow me to feel that wall proximity and get used to running the fence and get a handful of laps in before I go to the track in real life is going to be extremely beneficial. I want to try to get one more heater in here, as we like to call it. Lay down a Stanley steamer of a lap. See. Last lap, here we go. Let's make it a good one. No, we can't end on that. Hang on. We're gonna make it count. Can't end on that. I'm sorry, stream. I choked. I needed to clutch up there and I let you down. Here we go. It's going to be a little bit slower because now I have 3 or 4 laps on the tires, but... Oh yeah. That's it. That's so good. A little bit free right there. I'd like it to be a little bit tighter almost to run the fence, just because of the added turn you gain with that balance shift up by the fence with the wall proximity. Skimmed it a little bit on entry. Oh, and that was a pretty hard hit in the center. As expected, running the fence, there's no room for error. One thing I want to explain quickly in saying that, it makes me think about something I haven't said before. Right here, right? You're running the bottom of the racetrack. But look, you slip up off the bottom. Look how much racetrack space, or how much more runoff area you have to save it, right? Unless there's a car outside of you, of course. Well, now, you're on the fence. Look what happens if you make a mistake. Get a little looser here. Oops. Hit the fence. So there's zero room for error. So take that into consideration when thinking about how, if you're going to run it for an entire race on the sim, and of course watching the guys in real life do it, when we run it for nearly an entire race, you cannot afford to get into it because it could damage the car or bend a fender or body panel and cut a tire down and really affect the rest of your day or your race. So when there's no room for error like that, you definitely got to be cautious, but there's so much speed to be made that sometimes it's worth the risk, and you don't really have a choice but to go up there and try to make the speed and push as hard as you can without stepping over the edge, and that's what racing's all about. So I hope you all enjoy. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope that gave you a better idea of how the D-Box technology relays the wall proximity information from iRacing to the user or the driver. I think that was pretty cool to experience. This is our last lap here. This is the good one I was talking about. Um, but it was definitely cool to experience that firsthand with you all. Oh yeah, we nailed it. That was a perfect last lap. Let's get before we close this one out. Let's get a nice front view of this. I came out the wall a little bit too much on entry right here, but that's money right there. It's all because I have so much more feel on this rig now. That was beautiful. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.